All right, so Kimmy is tired of moving every time the landlord wants to sell the house. And then, she has to put her kids in new schools. So she's trying to think of ways to buy a house and a home for her and her children the non-traditional way because her credit's not up to par. All right, now let's take another scenario. We have Sean. He is kicking butt at this new network marketing company called Live Good, and he's getting like $10,000 a month, and he wants to find a way to invest in real estate the non-traditional way because he does not have 2 years of tax returns. Stay tuned. I'm about to tell you one of real estate's biggest secrets, and it's called buying a house on land contract. Stay tuned. Keep watching. All right, thanks for returning back to the channel. Real quick before we get started, I got this land contract video I did 3 years ago, and it was when I first started getting serious about YouTube. I was like shy, timid. My editing was horrible, but guess what? People love the information, and it's still a popular video, and people still tell me every day this was so helpful. So I had to run it back and do it better. So let's talk about land contract. Now, land contract is when you buy a home on seller financing, right? So this is a non-traditional way to buy real estate. This is when you don't qualify for a traditional mortgage, you don't have a 620 credit score, you don't have 2 years of tax returns, but you want to buy a home. So let's talk real quick why it's important to buy instead of renting. Well, number one is that when you are renting, your options are limited about the neighborhood you live in, the school districts you live in, and your options are just limited, period, right? On the style of home. So there are so many reasons, too many reasons to name of why you should want to buy a home instead of renting. But let's just talk about exactly the first few steps to buying a home on land contract. All right. So the first thing I would recommend is start searching the neighborhoods that you like. Start doing some searches on some of the public websites. I don't want to name them, but if you just go to Google and you type buy a house on land contract, some of the best people and websites will pop up for you. Right. Secondly, you might want to start doing research on a realtor, right? A real estate agent who works the areas that you might want to buy in. Okay, so sometimes you might have to talk to 2 or 3 realtors just to make sure they're familiar with what you're trying to do. You will discover a lot of times that land contract homes, the investor agents might know a lot more about it than a traditional real estate agent, one who helps first-time home buyers and stuff like that. Those investor agents might know a little bit more about it and might be able to help you better. All right, let's talk about the history of buying homes on land contract. So in the 1980s, interest rates were through the roof. Okay, I'm talking about 16, 17, 18%. That's the reason that I chuckle when people complain about the 6 and 7% that we see today. It's like y'all just don't know that that's probably the new average, right? And the interest rates that we saw in 2020 and 2021, those were historically low interest rates. And we probably won't see those again for 30 years. So that's kind of the history of buying homes on land contract. In the 80s, interest rates were so high, nobody was trying to buy, but buyers wanted to buy and sellers wanted to sell. So they came together and created something called land contract or seller financing. Basically, the way land contract works today is that you would do a search and basically, homeowners raise their hands. The ones who will accept land contract, you will see it on the listing. For example, I have a listing right now that is available for land contract. It is in a prime area, not too far from downtown Detroit. And basically, the seller is asking, I believe, for $30,000 down. right? So as a down payment, you would need to put $30,000 down, and you would pay $1,000 a month. And now he would like for it to be paid off in 5 years, right? So that would mean if the calculations do not add up to total the 125,000, I think that we're asking for, if the calculations don't, if you haven't paid the whole $125,000 off in the 5 years, you would need to get do a balloon payment. And this is when, now, let me just back up a little bit, because what a balloon payment is, that's when you do qualify for a mortgage that will pay off the property. But see, here's the trick about land contract. So once you have been making your payments for 1 year consistently, you will be able to use that payment information and history to then qualify for a loan. All right. So who wouldn't want to buy a house and then be able to qualify for a traditional mortgage in just 12 months? So let me give you another example of buying a house on land contract. So let's take a 3-bedroom, 1 bath with a basement and a backyard bungalow, right? So this is a property I had sold probably last year. Okay, so this particular seller was selling on land contract because he owed too much. He needed more time to pay off his existing mortgage. Okay, so he needed to sell the property because he moved out of state for a job. And that's why he wanted to sell on land contract, just to buy up a little bit more time to pay down the mortgage. So in this scenario, he was only asking for $10,000 down and then $800 a month. And he wanted it paid off in 5 years too. So pretty much a lot of people with land contracts want them paid off in 5 years. I have seen some, and like I said, in the 80s, people had 20 years to pay off the land contract. So what I'm saying is that it's all negotiable. A lot of times, it's flexible. It depends on how much you're putting as your down payment, how well you are making all of your payments. It just all depends. So those are some examples of how a land contract purchase is structured. So tell me this, had you ever heard about buying real estate on land contract, on seller financing, or on rent to own? Let me know in the comment section if you ever heard of this and where you've ever heard of this. I'm just really curious because Okay, so now that you found a home and a seller that says, yes, I will accept seller financing, your next step is to have your real estate agent to draw up a purchase agreement. You write in detail all of the terms. And now typically when you buy a house on land contract, expect to be responsible for homeowners insurance and be responsible for paying the taxes, right? So I do run into a lot of people who want to buy on land contract, but you can lose that property if you are not paying your taxes. The property can be taken away and given back to the seller. So be careful with that. But yes, once you have found a home you like, the seller says yes, and you've agreed to the terms, you sign a purchase agreement, putting all of your terms in writing, and then the seller signs accepting your terms, right? And so then, once both of you sign, it typically takes about 2 weeks and you can close the deal. Now, here are the documents you can expect to show. When you are buying on land contract, they may ask for proof of your income. So you want to be able to provide some sort of bank statement or some sort of check stubs. It all depends on the seller and the realtor. Everybody is different. Some people are just really skeptical about giving up their house. So they may ask for verification, bank statements, check stubs. I've even seen them ask for tax returns. It's not common, but they could ask. So that's it. That's how you buy a house on land contract. And like I said, sometimes the verbiage might say seller financing. Okay. But with the interest rates moving the way they are, and with, the economy the way it is, and, we might start to see a lot of land contracts again. So I just wanted to do another land contract video because it is becoming a popular subject once again. So I just want to get you prepared and know what to expect if you plan to buy a house on land contract. Now, let me know in the comments, are you one step closer to buying a home on land contract now that you've learned more about it? Let me know in the comment section. Also, do you remember the investor I told you about in the beginning of this video? Well, the network marketing company Live Good is true. It's real. It's really happening. It's a new company. People are making hundreds of dollars each and every single week, and they're making it from their phone from home. If you want to learn more about Live Good, take the Live Good tour. Click on that description box right here below. Thanks for watching the video. I'm Katina Willis. I will see you next time. Take care.